You step off the bus at 3 in the morning and someone is already screaming your last name. Your feet hit yellow footprints painted on the ground and you realize this is not a movie. You are a private, the lowest rank in the United States Marine Corps, and nobody here cares who you were before. Your head gets shaved in 11 seconds and the hair on the floor belongs to someone you used to be. Boot camp at Parris Island lasts 13 weeks and the Marine Corps had been breaking recruits here since 1915. The drill instructor does not teach you to fight. He teaches you to obey until obedience becomes reflex. The uncomfortable truth is that most recruits who get dropped are not broken physically. They quit mentally. You survive the Crucible, 54 hours of no sleep, 8 food rations, and 45 miles on foot, and they finally call you Marine. As a private first class, you report to the School of Infantry where the real training starts. Every Marine is a rifleman first, and your rifle qualification score will follow you for your entire career. The Corps has 4 main elements, and you are about to enter the ground combat element, the teeth of the entire force. You learn to clear rooms, set ambushes, and call fire missions before most people your age finish a college semester. As a Lance Corporal, you get your first chevron, and now the Marines below you are your responsibility. The Lance Corporal underground is legendary, and right now, you are living it. Too much rank to be invisible, not enough to be respected. Your first field exercise lasts 3 weeks in the mud, and nobody tells you when it ends. You make corporal, and suddenly 4 Marines look at you for every decision, and every mistake is yours. Then your first deployment order arrives, and it is not a training exercise. It is a real amphibious operation. You load onto an amphibious assault ship, and the well deck smells like diesel and salt water. The Marine Air Ground Task Force is how the Corps fights, combining ground infantry, aircraft, logistics, and a command element into one self-contained war machine. The aviation combat element flies everything from attack helicopters to fighter jets, and you see them launch from the flight deck at dawn. One of your Marines has not slept in 2 days, and you catch him falling asleep on watch during a night rotation. If you report him, he faces non-judicial punishment. If you cover for him and something happens, you both go down. You make sergeant, and now you lead a squad of 13 Marines in a live-fire amphibious beach assault. One wrong call on that beach and people die, and the Corps will remember which sergeant made it. Staff sergeant means you run a platoon, and the corporal's course and sergeant's course must be completed before the board even looks at you. Your platoon deploys to a forward operating base, and you realize the desert does not care about your rank. A convoy hits an improvised explosive device 2 miles from your position, and the medevac request comes through your radio. You send your quick reaction force and wait. And waiting is the part they never train you for. Everyone comes back alive, but one Marine has shrapnel wounds, and the after-action report will have your name on it. You return stateside, and the promotion board for gunnery sergeant is waiting. Less than 20% of staff sergeants make the cut. As gunnery sergeant, you become the backbone of the company, the one both officers and enlisted trust when the plan falls apart. Force Recon approaches you with a selection package and asks if you are willing to try out for the elite. The selection course is designed to break you. Open ocean swims at night, mountain navigation with no sleep, and a drop rate above 60%. You make it through, and now you understand what separates Force Recon from regular infantry. They go where nobody else can. But then they tell you about Marine Raiders, the Marine Corps Special Operations Command, and that is another level entirely. Raiders conduct direct action, special reconnaissance, and foreign internal defense in places that officially do not exist on any briefing. Back in the regular promotion track, you reach Master Sergeant, and now you advise battalion commanders on everything from training to morale. The staff sergeant accused is one of your best leaders, and shutting down the complaint would be easy, but you open a full investigation. First sergeant is next, and you become the senior enlisted leader of an entire company. responsible for every Marine in it. Retention is dropping and command wants answers, and the truth is that Marines are leaving because the housing is crumbling and their families are suffering. You write the report telling the colonel exactly what the Marines told you, and it does not make the command look good. Sergeant Major means you are the senior enlisted Marine in an entire battalion or regiment, and your word shapes careers. But above Sergeant Major, there is one position only one Marine holds at a time: the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. Now the officer side begins, and as a second lieutenant, you realize a commission changes everything because you can command Marines with 20 years of experience. The biggest mistake a new lieutenant makes is ignoring the staff sergeant who has been doing this job longer than you have been alive. As a first lieutenant, you deploy with a Marine Expeditionary Unit, and your platoon is the tip of the spear floating in hostile waters. Captain means you command a company of 200 Marines, and every decision you make echoes through the battalion. Major is where you leave the field and enter operations planning, and your mistakes no longer affect a platoon. They affect an entire campaign. You plan an amphibious landing with 3 ships, 2 helicopter squadrons, and over 1,000 Marines hitting the beach at dawn. Lieutenant Colonel, and you, command a battalion, over 800 Marines who will follow your orders into combat. A training accident during a river crossing kills one of your Marines, and the investigation starts before the body is recovered. The authorization for that crossing has your signature, and every decision you made that morning is now under a microscope. You are cleared, but you carry that name with you for the rest of your career. Colonel means you command a regiment, and your decisions now carry strategic weight that reaches beyond the battlefield. A crisis erupts in the Pacific, and your regiment is the closest force. The embassy needs evacuation, and you have 12 hours. You launch the Marine Expeditionary Unit, helicopters lift off the deck, amphibious vehicles hit the water, and your name is on the operations order. The evacuation succeeds, but 2 Marines are wounded, and the press calls it a failed operation because 1 civilian was left behind. Brigadier General, 1 star, and you no longer command a single unit. You oversee multiple commands and transform national orders into Marine combat power. Major General, 2 stars, and you command an entire Marine division or expeditionary force spread across multiple countries. Lieutenant General, 3 stars, and you sit at the table where decisions shape whether the Marine Corps fights this decade or the next. Force Design 2030 is restructuring the entire Corps, eliminating tanks, cutting infantry battalions, and building new littoral combat units for island warfare in the Pacific. Half the Corps hates the change, and half believes it is the only way to survive a war with a near-peer adversary. You are summoned to testify before Congress, and senators ask you whether the Marine Corps can still fight a ground war without its tanks. 4-star General, and if you reach this rank, you become the Commandant of the Marine Corps, the highest-ranking Marine alive. The Commandant is nominated by the President and confirmed by the Senate, and you sit on the Joint Chiefs of Staff advising on every military decision the nation makes. You decide which programs survive, which bases expand, and how 200,000 Marines will train for the next war. A crisis in the South China Sea escalates overnight, and you recommend deploying 3 Marine littoral regiments to contested islands. Marines land on remote islands with anti-ship missiles and portable radar, and they hold positions that deny an entire fleet passage through the strait. The crisis de-escalates without a shot fired, and nobody will ever know how close it came because that is classified. But then the question you never expected arrives. An autonomous weapons program wants to replace Marines on those islands with unmanned systems. You built your career on the principle that Marines are the weapon, and now someone is asking if they are still necessary. Your term as Commandant ends, and you hand the flag to the next Marine who will carry the weight of every decision you left behind. You walk out of the building for the last time, and the yellow footprints from that first night feel like they were yesterday. Tomorrow, your life is every rank in the Navy SEALs.